Okay, hello everyone. It is indeed a proud moment for us, a moment of great privilege, pleasure that we have Kinjal with us. And Kinjal, as you would be knowing, is All India Rank 1 CA Inter December 21 examinations, and we were happy to be her mentor and to have helped her in her journey. She has scored 87% in EISSM and All India Rank 1, so we are happy for both her results. And we wanted her to share with you कि उन्होंने preparations कैसे किया था. कई बार students के mind में ये queries होता है, मतलब we keep telling students about our suggestions about how they should prepare, what they should study, how they should study. पर फिर भी कई बार स्टूडेंट्स के माइंड में क्वेश्चन होता है, सर ये रैंक 1 वाले कैसे पढ़ते हैं, सर इनका रैंक 1 पता नहीं कैसे आ जाता है, सर हम लोग तो दिन भर पढ़ते रहते हैं फिर भी हमारा रिजल्ट उतना अच्छा नहीं आता है, सर ये कौन सा चक्की का आटा खाते हैं. आई मीन दीज आर क्वेश्चंस आई हैव हर्ड स्टूडेंट्स आस्क. ठीक है ना. सो आई वांटेड टू आस्क दीज क्वेश्चंस टू किंजल कि कौन सा चक्की का आटा खाती है वो, कि हाउ मेनी आवर्स डू दे स्टडी. ये क्वेश्चन और एक होता है, सर कितना 16 घंटा पढ़ें, सर 18 घंटा पढ़ें, सर 6 महीना पहले से लाइफ बंद करके एक कमरे में बंद हो जाना चाहिए क्या. These are a lot of things that are there in students' minds that I'm sure a lot of you might be having these questions. I wanted Kinjal to answer what she did, but disclaimers, like I always say, हर एक student का अपना perspective होता है, हर एक student different होता है. So what Kinjal did might work for you. Try it out. It may not work for you. Try something else. But here's Kinjal Ajmera for you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Firstly, I would like to thank you for your support and guidance throughout my journey. And yes, कौन सा चक्की का खाना खाते हो? That's the only answer would be I am a normal human being like everyone else who's watching this video and who's studying under you or any place in India. I'm just a normal student. All I would like to suggest first and the foremost is that we need to follow our teachers. Whatever they tell us, it should be something that we must follow word by word, and the results will be as you can see. And yes, as for my EISSM strategy, I would like to suggest that as Sanjay sir used to tell us during the classes, that it's important to be in touch with the subject and the syllabus, and it's important to keep on revising as and when we progress during our classes. So I had this routine classes during the weekdays, and during the weekend I would actually revise whatever I've done throughout the week. So that will help me actually to retain, and yes, I would like to say that it helped me to retain the subject matter easily. Yes, that would be my suggestion. And yes, as for the number of revisions that I did, I would like to say that I've done around 2 thorough revisions, and the third one was a kind of fast track revision where we just touch upon the important portions. And yes, that excludes the 1.5 day as Amit sir would like to say Kali Raat. That's a different issue, but yes, the around 2 revisions helped me a lot to actually be confident about what I'm supposed to write when the paper comes.
So how many hours would you suggest the students? That is a question.
Yes, actually my answer would be quality matters and not quantity. So it depends on what suits the person. Like I am someone who would like to wake up early in the morning at around 6 or 5 and then study, but for some there are night owls, they'll study during the night 1 or 2. So it depends on the person itself. And there's one more thing, that it depends also on the amount of capability you have. Like if you have the capacity to study for 2 hours to 3 hours at a stretch, that's a different issue. But I myself could not study more than 1 hour or 1.5 hours max. Like that's what I can go at one go. I need a break for at least 15 minutes after that to refresh my mind, and then again come back and study.
This will help a lot of students because they always feel that
yes,
I can't study for 3 hours, 4 hours.
That's actually not necessary, but it's important that when I study in that 1.5 hours, I give my 100% for each and every minute, so that minute counts and my effort is worth it.
And as for EISSM, You had prepared from ICI MAT. Where did you
Yes.
prepare from?
I prepared only from ICA MAT because, as you would be knowing, that even sir teaches the most of the thing from the ICA MAT itself, and ICA MAT is actually, I would like to say, the Bible, Gita, every holy book.
Absolutely.
So we can actually consider, because we need to be thorough with the subject. Referring to other books or summary books or acronyms for that matter will help us to retain. But firstly, we need to know that what is the matter that we are studying about. So it's always better to first refer the ICI MAT, then making our own notes for self study. That's the second level. The first level should always be ICI MAT.
Okay. A few things that students often have in mind is in 1.5 days, how did you manage both EIS and SM?
Yes, I would like to say that even sir sent us a voice note and about how to prepare in that 1.5 days. It's about balancing out. We don't start with all the 5 chapters of EIS at one go, or all the 8 chapters of SM at one go. We split it up, or we even subdivide the chapters of EIS, so that helps to retain, and it also helps to keep our mind fresh, because sometimes it happens that we do SM 3 chapters at a go. We feel that that we've revised it, but it's something that we realize later that no, it was in the flow, but it's actually not been in the head. So it's better to subdivide the chapters, so it will help to enjoy also while studying.
Okay. Did you have to leave anything and go?
No, I personally don't believe in that strategy, because I cannot have a good night's sleep if I leave something and go for my exam. So
okay. There is one thing that every student, I am sure, of EISSM wants to know is how did you manage chapter 3 second half?
Chapter 3 second half. Okay, so I followed sir's advice. Sir advised us to treat that portions as 3 different headings and 3 different sub chapters. Like there were one about managerial and application controls. There was one about auditing the controls, and the other part was about the technical, the technological risks and all. So yes, it helped me to treat it that way, that there were 3 different sub chapters and independent topics, which they are. So it likewise, like picking up one sub chapter one day, completing that thoroughly, and then just letting our mind settle that part, and then moving on to the other portion the next day. So it helps to retain that.
There are 2 things also that students often have a problem with. One thing that students often say is, they answering the question paper, EISSM. So, should you answer EIS then SM? Did you find the paper tough? A lot of people have this in mind. EISSM ka paper tough hota hai. Case study based questions in SM is a question that students have in their mind. So, these are few question paper related questions that they have.
I would like to suggest that there's no fixed strategy to that. Like answering the question paper, the order cannot be fixed from the previous day. We need to see the question paper. Generally, the trend has been that EIS questions have been more straightforward. So a student finds it easier to actually recapitulate during the exam and write it down. So it helps to increase the confidence as well. SM is a bit, I would like to say, time consuming compared to EIS when it comes to reading the questions, because they have this one whole page case study, and the question is ultimately in the last line of just 5 marks. So yes, that might help in during the reading time, when a student might just underline the important portions of the case study to quote them from the case study and in the answer. So there's no fixed strategy as to what you should first attempt.
Is there anything else to do for SM case study preparation that they should do for preparing for SM case studies?
I would like to suggest that reading between the lines in the ICI MAT is very important, because we think that a case study is completely new to us and something of that sort, but that's actually not the case. They quote a very similar line to that's what written in the ICI MAT. So if you've read the MAT thoroughly, you'll relate that yes, this portion was somewhere mentioned under this heading. So that helps to connect with the question faster and then understand what exactly is being asked.
Is it difficult to complete the paper EISSM?
No, personally speaking, it's not difficult if one can recollect it in a bit faster manner. So it's you can complete it within 2 hours 45 minutes, and the next 15 minutes can be for revision or for the tricky MCQs, actually making the final choice.
Okay. Did you find EISSM paper question tough or anything out of the syllabus?
No.
Anything that is...
No, it's completely within the coverage which is being taught in the class and the ICI MAT. So there was nothing which was out of the blue, or we had to think something out of the box and actually make our answer, as in not right from the book. There was nothing of that sort.
There was nothing that is not beyond ICI MAT.
Right.
Okay. and what is the length of answer that they should write? These are questions that I am bombarded with often by students.
Yes.
So I just want to ask you to answer them.
It
also.
actually depends upon the weightage of the marks. There are two
So
types.
like when you have to decide your answer, let's say
Yeah.
you have a 6-mark question or a 5-mark question.
Generally, it's of 5 marks, which we saw in our paper. It was of 5 marks, and otherwise there are of 3 marks and 2 marks. The first question is of 3 mark, 2 marks. That way they split it up. So the compulsory one. So it might happen that a 5-mark topic may be given in the 3-mark question. So we do not cut on the number of points. If there are 5 points, we do write down the 5 points even in the 3 marks answer. But then what we do is that we try to summarize it and actually justify the entire all the points, but still keeping within the time limit and the ideal word limit which there should be for a 3-mark answer. That's what I would like to suggest.
Okay. And anything else that you want to? These are questions
Yes,
that I can.
there are sometimes what happens in I remember there was one question which was a bit vague. In SM, there was a question which was a bit vague. You cannot actually pinpoint like what portion it is from. It might be something like that's related to the entire chapter. So in that case, even I panicked, like what should be the exact length and what points should be mentioned. So what I did personally was that I first wrote down the points which I could like I thought that they're the most correct ones and the most appropriate ones. I then left out the space for like one page I left out, and then I thought that if I get time, I'll come back to this question and try to conclude and incorporate the other points as well, so that my answer looks a bit complete. And I just don't lose out marks just because I don't understand what appropriate points were. So that is something that's actually a buffer. You don't focus on writing down just that 5-mark question. You move on to the rest of the questions which the answers are more direct, so it helps to score more marks.
Should we answer MCQs at the beginning, in the middle? How do you start the approach the paper when you get the question paper?
Yes, the MCQ booklet we are allowed to open at 2 p.m. when the writing starts, and the question paper is given 15 minutes before. So we know about the question paper, but we don't know about the MCQs. That will we have to incorporate within those 3 hours. So what I did was I started writing my paper. I completed my EIS part first, and then after around 3:30, like midway, I started at around 3. Yes, around 3 I started with the MCQs. So I personally I did what was for all my subjects in the middle of the exam. I started with MCQs, so that helped me to save time as well, and then I actually had the syllabus also in my mind when I started with one portion, so that helped me.
Okay. A lot of people ask me, should they make running notes? Should they not make running notes? I mean, in terms of their self notes, should they be making?
Like for me personally speaking, I did not like to make handwritten notes. Even in school, I have not made. Whatever I did was that it's in the mat. Explanation might be something different, that you write down the keywords which sir says while explaining. That's a different issue. Otherwise, writing down the entire material which is there in the book in our own handwriting, it's something that I feel is time consuming, energy consuming, and it doesn't not help me with retaining the matter. So I personally did not do that.
Okay. And in terms of the MCQs, did you find anything difficult, or that you could not handle, or anything, if there was anything else that is required out of it?
No, for MCQs I would just suggest a thorough reading of the ICI mat, because they do ask questions which are strictly from the mat. And if a person, even though a person might be having the concept strong, but there can be a situation where the person might get confused between 2 similar options. So having the concept strong as well as at least one thorough reading of the book is important to handle the MCQs. That's what my suggestion would be.
Okay. And something that always students are looking forward to is the more important topics list that we keep coming out with.
Yes, that's really very important. It's like the savior of the last minute. So yes, that's very important.
How useful was that for you?
It was extremely useful, sir, because as I said, in the 1.5 days, it's very difficult to tackle a subject like EISSM, because EIS itself is a huge volume book which we have. So tackling all the 5 chapters, which are equivalent to around more than 10 chapters, and at that last moment, it's very difficult to revise each and every subheading and go through the entire book. So the actually this list of most important topics, important must-read ones, and may also come. We had this 4 categories. So they help to prioritize in that 1.5 days that which portion should be focused upon. I actually regretted while writing the paper that I should after list I saw the most important topics. I read the headings, the main headings and the subheadings, but I did not read the matter which was inside. I was like, if I would have known that, I would have read that matter also and then just copied down during the exam. So yes, that was one regret, minor regret which I had, that I did not have to. I framed it, but that's another issue.
It was a close match.
Yes, it was a very close match. I was like, just मुझे पता होता कि यहीं से आता है तो I will have even read the inside matter and written it down. So yes, it's that helpful.
In general, for all other papers also, students appearing for May 22
Yes.
and onwards, they often have how much time is enough. Like a lot of them finish their tuitions a little late. They have like 2 months time in hand. So they're like, sir, 2 महीना काफी होता है क्या for self preparation? Is it enough?
I believe that more than the 2 months which we have in the end, it's important how we study regularly during the period when we have our classes. We believe that we've watched the class or we've attended the class, and that's more than enough. But the more important part is the extra half an hour which we devote at the end of the day for around each subject, or at least even 15 minutes for each subject. So that makes up to around 2 hours or 1.5 hours for 3 to 4 subjects. So that is more important than attending the classes, because it's something that we've attended the classes, we've heard that, and we have that fresh in our mind. So if we revise it once again, so that it's settled in our mind somewhere in the corner. So in that last 2 months when we revise, that is something we can recollect easily, that yes, sir gave us that example to help us memorize this portion. So that's very easy to connect.
Okay, but apart from that, is 2 months enough for?
I believe yes, it will be enough. But
Again, obviously will vary from case
yes,
to case.
vary from case to case.
And I think that is all that I can think of as the questions that students generally want to ask. Okay. Kinjal obviously has had she was close to a foundation ranker, because I think she missed foundation rank by like 3 marks. So she, if she had 3 more marks, she would have been third in foundations. She just missed it by like 3 marks. Inter, obviously, she did not allow it to be missed, and she, grabbed the best AIR one. And we obviously want her to secure, I can't say better because there's nothing better than this for finals, but I would obviously want her to sustain this at final level. So there's nothing that's the difficult, you've raised the benchmark for yourself and our expectations for you. So, just a little, I will tell you about Kinjal also is, I remember while she was doing recorded classes, and she did the recorded classes, she had joined the classes also a little late. But when she was doing the classes, I remember she was very regular in terms of her classes. So it's not that, you do 1 class or 2 classes and then you're not doing classes for 10 days. Because I remember having had a chat with her over WhatsApps, over calls in between also, about how her preparations are going. She gave her mock test regularly. I remember that she gave her mock test, and I remember having evaluated her mock test. और मेरे को याद है इसका mock test paper, I mean theory paper, I didn't want to give raise the bar for students, but I had to find errors in her mock test paper. So I knew the student was a good student, but obviously she's one of the best of her batch now. So we wish her all the best for her future endeavors. Thank you so much, Kinjal, and thank you everyone. I hope you have benefited from hearing out Kinjal's experiences about EISSM in general, about preparations. I hope it helps you in preparing for your examinations for May 22 and onwards. So all the best everyone. Thank you.